live right now. There we go. There we go. I don't want to chat. Hey, it's Bruce Hill, New Skills, New You. Welcome to Eliminate Discovery Calls webinar. And it's really simple. At the end of this webinar, if you're a coach, consultant, trainer, or service provider, I have a photographer I'm working with, you have a consultation call, 15-minute discovery call. This is for you. This is for you. And by the end of the call, don't want you to have those anymore in your business. And I'm going to show you how. So check this out. I'm going to jump right in. Is that okay? I'm going to jump right in. Let me share my screen here. Go to my presentation. I made this just for y'all. I don't even like presentations. Okay. So let's hit present. But I think having visuals is important. Actually, I know it's important because it improves how people learn, right? And improves how they receive and retain information. But this isn't a class on learning. This is a class on eliminating discovery calls. So let's rock and roll. Grab your pad and pen. I do want to break this down. This is, I think we get on a lot of webinars and it's a lot of fluff and it's a lot of high level information. It's a lot of theory, maybe some motivational, which is great, but it's not always helpful. I want this to be helpful. So if you take out your pad and pen, you're going to have some steps that you can execute in order to eliminate discovery calls in your business, free up time on your calendar, and this is important, and increase revenue. Okay. So I don't want this just to be me talking for 30, 40 minutes just to make noise. Okay. I want to increase your revenue and increase your free time. That's the mission. That's the goal. So help me do that. Take some notes and execute. Now, I will sell you something at the end. Some people, hey, they want to do it themselves. Great. I will give you the framework. But if you need a little help, I've got you covered as well. So, some key takeaways. Let's say you can't say the whole time. Maybe the kids need dinner. Maybe you're on the way to work. Doesn't matter. Your laptop dies, internet cuts out. There's 5 key takeaways. I want to teach you how to automate. One of the biggest problems I see, and by see I mean looking in the mirror, is that they try and do every single thing in their business. Well, if you're doing everything, you don't own a business, you own a job. But you're not ready for that. You're not ready. I want you to delegate. See point number 1. You shouldn't be doing everything. I'm going to teach you how to set up a process that can be automated and, where necessary, delegated. A structure. This is so important when we talk about scaling, as having a structure, but it's also important in controlling your time and controlling your results. And you really will have a hard time delegating if you don't have a structure. Maybe I need to switch those around. I want you to hear yes more often. When I started my business, this was my first, I would say, successful business. New skills, new you. The tagline was helping you hear yes more often without sounding salesy. And I realized that entrepreneurs, that service-based businesses were often a transformation, but they weren't always hearing yes. And they didn't have the sales skills to make that possible. That's something we dive in deep. If you work with me, we're going to make sure you're hearing yes more often so you can spend more time doing what you love and less time convincing people that you're the best option to solve their problems. Now, not everyone's going to tell you yes. I wish that were possible, but if I told you 100% of people tell you yes, I'm lying to you. Don't believe me, okay? But I'm going to tell you the truth. I've done this for quite a few years. I'm up to 15 now. I've heard no a lot of times, and so I'm going to give you some best practices for what to say when they say no. All right, that's a lot of takeaways. We got some work to do to cover this. Let's keep going. I think I mentioned this at the beginning. Who is this for? Am I in the right place? Should I even spend the time with Bruce on this afternoon, this evening, this morning, whenever you're listening to this live and in color, or if you're catching the replay? It's for the tired coach, somebody who's spending more time taking calls than they do coaching. That's not what you started for. If you wanted to run a call center, you would have started a call center, okay? But you're a coach, you're a service-based business, you're offering a transformation. We want to spend time doing that, operating in your gift, not on menial tasks that we can automate. All right. If you're a busy trainer, I worked with the trainer, and actually, she's one of the people that prompted me to create this because she had a discovery call, and then after the discovery call, she moved to a consultation call, and consultation call And they may or may not sign up. But she has more important things to do than answer calls, right? She's a physical trainer, not the telephone operator, right? Now, maybe you're number three. You're frustrated with hearing no. You're getting them on the phone. Okay, great. You're getting them on the call. Excellent. And they tell you everything but yes. Womp womp. You're wasting time trying to convince people. Let's not get ahead of ourselves. If you're frustrated with hearing no, you're in the right place. Let's keep going. Now, I say sales training, a lot of people, listen, myth number one, you do not have to be a salesperson. That is false. In fact, I've been most successful with people who've never worked in sales before. I've been most successful and helped get the biggest results. Ooh, somebody remind me to put that testimonial in here. With introverts have been my favorite success stories. You don't have to be pushy. I discourage you from being that person, that salesperson that we all hate. And I believe that if you have to be pushy in order to accomplish your goal, you're really not that good at what you do. Okay, I'm going to help you get good at it. I'm going to help you hear yes more often. Another myth: you have to close the calls yourself. I said this before, and I'll say it again. You don't need to do all the work in your business. Get out of that hustle mindset, that solopreneur mindset. We're building it. This is for folks that want to build a business. If you want to do it all yourself, this is the wrong place. Number four. I heard this. I have to be a fake version. I was talking to them. I was like, "What does a sales call sound like for you?" And they like literally switched their voice. I was like, "Who is that? You're not an actor. I want you to be your authentic self. I just want you to be the you that hears yes more often and makes more money while you're at it." And then, oh, I think I already said this. Introverts can't sell. False. The reason I've seen introverts be more successful is because they take the time to listen, and listening is the most powerful sales skill. Listening is the most powerful sales skill. If you can listen, you're on the right track. There's hope for you yet. So, who is Bruce Hill? Who's this guy yelling at me, telling me not to be a solopreneur? I started out in sales on accident. I got fired from my job. That's how all great stories start, right? I got fired from my job. I was like, oh man, what do I do? And I had enough wisdom that if I kept doing the same things, I would get the same results. I had enough wisdom. I said, but I don't know what to do that. So I called my buddy up and I said, what should I do? And listen, check this out. People will give you advice based on their life experiences. People can only give you advice based on their life experiences. Even if they tell you, oh, I heard that such and such works, that's still based on how they see themselves when they look in the mirror, how they see themselves when they close their eyes. So if you take their advice long enough, you're going to end up with their life. So here's some very simple advice for you. Do not take advice from someone you wouldn't want to adopt their life. Okay. So if you want someone who's been in sales for 15 plus years, who's raised millions of dollars for universities and fundraising programs, who's generated 8 figures in pipeline for SaaS tech companies, who's been the President's Club twice, if you want to learn from someone that's done that, you're in the right place. I just went over my accomplishments. I've got more. I've got more. I went from the bottom, 0 sales in a month, to the top in the region. It took me 6 months to do it, but I learned a lot on the way. And those are the things I'll pour into you when we work together one on one. All right. Some fun facts about me. It's not all business. I love to read. I've read 50, let's see, it was 51 books last year. I just love to read. And I love to travel. I got to get some stamps back on my passport. I'm on my third passport now. I guess I love it. And I speak a little Spanish. Not enough to get hired at the UN, but I'm a lot of fun to go to Spanish speaking countries. If you ever go to Cancun, bring me with you. Okay. All right. I wear a size window seat in flights. So let's get to the nitty gritty. All right, that's who I am. But why should you care? Why should you get rid of discovery calls? I believe they're a waste of time. I believe that a lot of people have this link on their calendar. It gets your name, it gets your email. Maybe some of us are savvy enough to include a text message. Capture those text messages. When you sign up for this webinar, did I ask you for your text message? Yes, ma'am. Yes, sir. I leave by example. But what happens is discovery calls, they don't have a purpose. They don't have any structure. You have no idea who the person is on the other end of the phone. So you spend maybe a lot of time figuring out if they're even the ideal client. And it's because you don't know who they are or what they need, you can't make a solution, you can't make an offer, you can't add value, or it's very difficult. And so your 15-minute discovery call turns into a 40-minute coaching call, and it does not turn into a client. That's a waste of time. We're not doing that anymore. Here's the first thing. Got your pen and paper? Here's the first thing that you need to do to eliminate discovery calls. Okay. Automation. Many of the things you do frequently can be automated using the tools listed below. Remember, unless you own a call center, you are not a call center. I love that line. Put it in bold. All right. I use Calendly. If you go to brucehill.online, you can book. There's three options. I choose a discovery call. It's got a list of questions. It's going to ask you how you found me, some groups you're in, how long you've been in business, are you ready to make an investment? These are things that I'm going to ask every single time. I already know I'm going to ask that. So why don't I just get them out of the way? Why don't I automate that process? And I do. And it saves me a lot of trouble. So even though it's titled a discovery call, it is a closing call. The goal is, if I'm looking at this at the questionnaire and I see that you're an ideal client, the goal is for you to work with me. I want to solve some of your problems. I want to add some value to your business. I want to make you some money. I'm not going to waste time on questions that I could have filled out in the questionnaire. Now, that form is a little bit more complex. It is got some great integrations, and it's going to cost a little bit more than Calendly, but it has decision trees. So if you have 3 or 4 different options or different products or services that people can work with you, JotForm's a great choice. It's going to help you automate that onboarding. So you come in, you know right away, oh, this is an A client, this is a B client, this is a C client. When they come up to that Zoom, Google Meet, whatever you use, you already know which problems they have. You can work on solving those problems. So you can spend more time closing and less time convincing. Yes, yes. All right. And in between those two is Google Forms. I like Google Forms because it allows you to capture and store data and organize it very easily. Me personally, I use Calendly, but I want to introduce these to you because it's about what's best for your business. All right. Now, there's so much more. Bruce, what questions should I ask? I gave you some examples. What questions should I ask for my business? This is where we got to work together. I can't cover it all in a webinar. That's not the point of this webinar. The goal is just to get you to a mindset like, hey, I'm not working efficiently in my business. And if you can take this and run with it, great, do it. Send me a testimonial. Let me know how it worked for you. If you need some help, we'll give you an opportunity to work with me here at the end. Confidence is key. One of the biggest things I learned from sales, and one of the first things I teach when I work with clients, is confidence. If you don't sound like you know what you're talking about, the customer will doubt you. People buy confidence. If you don't believe in you, how can I believe in you? Now, I got some good news. Well, Bruce, I'm a quiet person. I'm shy. Got some good news for you. Practice creates confidence. You're not born with confidence. No one's born with confidence. I don't care. It's not genetic. I believe that it is something you can practice and practice and practice and grow. It's not going to happen on accident. So that's good news for you. If you feel like you're not a confident person, I'm going to show you how to practice more effectively. You can grow your confidence. Okay. Process. One of the biggest things I see when people are afraid of sales or speaking, right? Those two kind of go hand in hand. They're really not afraid of sales or speaking. They're afraid of rejection and they're afraid of judgment. So, what a process allows you to do, it allows you to predict your outcome and remove some uncertainty. What do I say? What are we talking about? Are they going to sign up? Having a consistent process helps you produce consistent results. And that's going to build your confidence. You're going to go into the call with a process. You're like, okay, I've practiced this. Bruce showed me the plan. I'm going to execute the plan. I'm going to run the play. You're going to have more confidence and it's going to sound more confident on the phone and you're going to hear yes more often. So now all of a sudden, we're not taking discovery calls just to talk to random people on the internet. No, now we're taking closing calls to onboard new clients. You see the difference there? Confidence is key. Problem solving. What does it have to do with confidence? Problem solving is what keeps you in business. Very few people are going to give you money just because they like you. Okay? It ain't because I look good. What my uncle used to say, he said, ain't your good pretty face. When you solve a problem for someone, the bigger the problem, the more pain that it causes them. And actually, I do need to change it to pain point. My coach told me we're doing pain points, not problems. They are going to be eager to work with you. Like, yeah, this is my problem. Can you help me? It's going to build up your confidence because we operate integrity. We've solved this problem before in our lives and in others. So you go into the call, you're not taking any from them, money wise or even time wise. You're giving them hope. You're giving them a solution to their problem. I go into every call with confidence because I know I'm going to help your business grow. Let me dive into the sales process, right? I put it here, confidence key. We have a process. Well, what's the process, Bruce? I told you I really want you to have some tangible, actionable takeaways. So I teach a process called the question path. I can't get into it right now. This is a webinar, not a workshop. It is 5 simple step process to gently guide the potential client from interested to invoice. Okay, when they pick up the phone, they're interested. When they hang up, I want to say, if you don't take the card over the phone, we're sending an invoice. I strongly encourage you to take the card over the phone, but that's another conversation. Consistent process creates consistent results. So you want to ask yourself, what's the shortest path from this new person I've never talked to before to a new client that's going to work with me for over the weeks, months, hopefully years? That's a sales process. That's the step by step. Are they scheduling a Zoom call? Okay, great. What's that link? What's the questionnaire? All right. What do I need to know before I talk to them? How long am I going to allow on the phone? I usually top out about 30 minutes. 20 minutes in, and this is the beautiful thing about removing the discovery call. Instead of having two calls, you only have one, and that call should be onboarding the client. 20 minutes in, we should be talking about payment options. And I'll show you, when we work together, I'll show you how we can identify bad fits as quickly as possible. We get them off the phone. Say, hey, listen, based on what you're telling me, I'm going to send you a link. I'm going to send you an email based on 1, 2, 3, 4. That's going to help you. Thank you so much. Goodbye. I don't want you spending time convincing people. That's not what we signed up for. I want you to spend time changing lives and making some money while you're at it. Okay, so consistent process creates consistent results. A sales process can be duplicated. And I said this before. I want to be able to do it the same way over and over and over again. That allows me to predict the outcome on each and every call. And I know I'm going to take 10 calls, I'm going to close 2 or 3 clients, right? That's where I want to get to. It can be duplicated over and over again. And we talk about scaling upwards, it can be delegated. A sales process should be so specific that I can hand it to someone and say, hey, this is your job, this is how you do it. Again, I don't want you running the business. I don't want you taking calls at all eventually, but we can't do that without a sales process. All right, rocking and rolling. Yes, I see the typos. No worries. I'll clean those up. That's what assistant's for. Follow up. Remember, I told you at the beginning, not everyone's going to tell you yes. Part of your sales process is what happens after that closing call. So we've eliminated discovery calls, we've automated those, we've got a questionnaire set up for it, we've got a workflow set up for it. What happens after the call? So if they say yes, there needs to be a follow up. Hey, you're going to get a receipt, you're going to get a contract, and you're going to get access to the program. Whatever. That's an example. If they say no, or maybe they say, "Hey, I get paid on Friday. Can I pay on Friday?" There needs to be a process in place. Say yes. Collect their card information. Scheduled to run on Friday. Um, we don't have time to go into objections. Oh, I got to talk to my spouse. I got to pray about it. Before you let them off the phone, let's say they say, "Yeah, I don't know if this is right." Ask yourself, is the right fit? Confirm they have the problem that you solve. And just double check. This is a double check for you to make sure you're not wasting time. But this is a reality check for them to say, you know what? I do have that problem. I don't want to keep it anymore. And I've had people turn around and say, you know what? Let's get started. Do they want to work with you? Now, this is a tough one. Sometimes they're like, no, this isn't what I was looking for. Do not convince those people. Those are how you get chargebacks. That's how you end up getting disputes. We don't convince those people. If they just don't want what you have to offer, that's okay. That means we need to go back and fix the questionnaire, or maybe talking to you, they had a new revelation. That's fine. A different question is sometimes people say no, and it's an issue of capacity. Are they able to work with you? Perfect example. I had a client, they got denied for funding and they wouldn't answer the phone. So I said, hey, I bet that you're a little disappointed the funding didn't get approved. Did you know we have some other options? And they responded. They said, what are they? And we actually got them on an option that worked for them. So sometimes, and this is why follow up is so important, if I just gave up, I would have missed out on some revenue. Sometimes it's not a matter that they don't want to. They are the right fit. They do want to work with you. They need options on how. And so follow up is going to make sure you're not missing opportunities. And that's where, again, we're taking these calls and they're turning into closing calls. We don't want to just talk to people just to talk to people. Okay. If you want to do that, you can go on live on Instagram, on TikTok, talk to yourself. We want to find the right fits that want to work with us and we want to give them options so they're able to work with us. That's what the follow up is for. I wish I could tell you a foolproof plan to hear yes every single time. When I figure it out, I'll let you know. Until then, we have to have a follow up process. Otherwise, we're just taking discovery calls over and over and over again. We're wasting our time and our future clients that's looking for us. We're wasting their time too, and we're making it longer and longer that they have to live in their problem and their pain point when we could be serving them. So, Bruce, you said it. Discovery call. You said closing call. Here's the difference. Discovery calls, you're I don't know, you're exploring, you're trying to discover their problem. If I'm a painter, I don't want to talk to people in apartments. I want to talk to people in houses, right? If I'm a basketball trainer, I don't want to talk to volleyball players. I shouldn't have to discover if you're the right client. I just need to figure out how bad the problem is and are you willing to work with me to change it? And that's a subtle difference, okay? You know what problem you solve. So your questionnaire that we're using to eliminate the discovery call should check, does this person have a problem I can solve? If they don't, I don't want to talk to them. Why are we on the phone? Why are we in the Zoom? All right, I'm off the soapbox. I want to change those discovery calls to closing calls. We're looking at a questionnaire and we say, yes, this is someone I can help. So this call has a specific purpose, okay? It's designed to create new clients and revenue for your business. So this call is revenue generating. Do you go into the call and people are like, oh, Bruce, I don't want to be greedy. I don't want to seem like why are you in business? You're here to help people. I feel like, let me know if you disagree. You should be compensated for the value you add. You should be compensated for solving a problem. It should be a revenue generating activity. If unless you're delivering the service or the coaching, which is fulfillment, there's no other reason you should be on the phone unless it's revenue generating. What are you talking about right now? What are you doing? The only other exception I might have to that if you're like on a podcast or you're a guest speaker, but even then, you should be driving them to schedule a call, download a freebie, something. It should still be revenue generating later. One of my favorite t-shirts, I need to buy it. She said, I don't speak for free, I speak for fee. Do you want to have a target? You say, hey, there's a goal for this call. I'm not going to ask you about the weather. And unless you're a dog groomer, I'm not going to ask you about your pets. Unless you're a tutor, I'm not going to ask you about your kids. We're going to have a target for this call. And we're going to focus on one solution. Here's the tip, write this down. A lot of calls end up going nowhere because they try and talk about too many different solutions. You're the expert. You should be recommending one solution for one problem. Now, Bruce, what if they have more than one problem? Pick one and solve it. They're going to be so happy that you solve that problem. They say, look, I got these other problems right here. Can you solve some of these too? Now you got a recurring client. And that's what the questionnaire is for. You want to go into the call knowing, hey, I know they have X problem. I'm going to present Y solution. And that's going to turn discovery calls into closing calls. I have a client I work for, which I do close high ticket sales. I think I have two spaces open. If that's something that would be valuable to you or up train your sales team. She has 3 products. And I look at the questionnaire before I get on that call. and I evaluate their answers. It takes me 30 seconds. Okay. Remember, I'm trying to save you time. More free time, more revenue. That's the mantra. I look at the questionnaire and say, okay, we need to talk about this one problem. And if anyone says, well, Bruce, I sell a high ticket, this isn't going to work for me. One of those programs is $7,000. I look at the questionnaire, I get them on the phone, I check on just a few details. We talked about the question path, 5 simple steps. And around 15 to 18 minutes, we're talking payment options. Hey, look, I've got bonuses if you pay in full. We got this payment plan. You can get started today. It really isn't complicated. I almost said easy. It's going to take some practice, and that's what I'm here for. But it is very, very simple. The goal of the call is to create new clients, not to discover. The questionnaire does the discovery, close the call generates a revenue. Hey, now we have a new client. Now that time was well spent for both of you. And because I almost feel guilty when people, for whatever reason, they're like, oh, you know what, Bruce, this isn't for me. I feel bad because they still have the problem that they came into the call with. I'm here to help them. I can't do that if we don't close that client. But wait, there's more. I correct myself up. Like I said, I can't cover everything in one webinar. I think we're pushing that 30-minute mark. I don't talk just to make noise, y'all. I want to dive deep. So I've done two things. I'm setting up a digital course so that you have access to it 24/7. And I design them with free updates. That's one thing that's important to me. As I continue to learn and grow, I want you to learn and grow. So free updates for the course. I do a live workshop. This is something I do a little bit differently. Once a month, I'm going to do a live workshop for your specific questions, and so I can customize your support and needs to your business. Now, I do believe in this. Like, it's about 60% done. So, what I'm going to do for you, a pre-sale price is available through July 30th. So, I don't know when you're watching this. If it's after July 30th, 2022, hey, listen, you got to pay the full price. So what I want to do, let me see if I can get this on here. Give me one moment. Here we go. I want to make sure if there's any questions, and I want to give you an opportunity to sign up. So again, we've got the digital course, the lifetime access, and we've got the live workshop. So I want to help you turn those discovery calls to closing calls. And when you delegate that process, we can eliminate them from your calendar altogether. We want to eliminate discovery calls altogether. So a quick recap. We're going to use a questionnaire to automate the front end of the process and filter out bad fits and identify good fits as quickly as possible before we get on the call. Number two, we're going to have a call structure. I don't believe in scripts. We'll have a structure. I'll teach you the question path so that you can have a predictable process that produces consistent results. All right. You can go into that call with confidence, or even better, and this is where I lean towards, you can delegate it out. You can hire a closer, hire a sales team, and you can grow your sales team because it works once, that'll work 100 times. All right. And last but not least, we're going to talk about the follow up process. Again, I will never lie to you. If someone's going to tell you no, my goal is to help you hear yes more often. And what are we going to do with those no's? Are they just bad fits or do they need some additional support? That's it. That's the goal. I'm Bruce Hill, New Skills, New You. Thank you for the opportunity to serve. I hope that helps someone put some more white space on their calendar. I hope that helps someone have a little bit less anxiety about taking a week off and going on a vacation. Listen, I know a lot of you love what you do, but I want you to control the time in which you do it. Okay. And we're going to start by eliminating discovery calls to make that happen. All right. If you need some additional help, you will get the link. Look for that email afterwards. You need some additional help, you can reach me at New Skills New on Instagram. Just mention eliminate discovery calls when you message me, and myself or a team member will get in touch with you.